I'm Jane Sterk, leader of the Green Party of BC. I welcome you to our online talk show, Green BC. Can I start again?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm Jane Sterk, leader of the Green Party of BC. Welcome to our online talk show, Green BC Solutions for a Better Future. I'm very pleased to welcome Robin Tunnecliffe, who is with Saanich Organic. She's a farmer in the Greater Victoria region on the Saanich Peninsula. I didn't really write down the name of your specific farm, but you can tell us what that is. And welcome to our program.
Thanks.
Tell me the name of your farm and tell me what Saanich Organics is.
So I have a little farm that's about 3/4 of an acre of leased land, and I call that Feisty Field. But I work within the greater body of Saanich Organics, which is 3 other farmers working together, and we market our produce together. So for all intents and purposes, Saanich Organics
Is kind of one farm with many different components to it.
Yeah.
And farming is hard business, and you're a young woman. What possessed you to want to become a farmer?
I get asked that a lot, and I think it's just in my bones. I just always wanted to farm. When I graduated from university, I really wanted a job that was meaningful and that was part of a solution for environmental problems rather than more of a cause. And so when I was looking for meaningful work, farming just seemed like a whole package deal. You got to do a lot of activism. I'm always out in the community promoting local food. I'm in the field, I'm doing physical work, and that feels really good. And then I get to eat really well. So that's a side benefit.
Even better is the good eating. And how did you come to get together with the other 2 women that are also small-scale farmers?
I guess we met. The community of farmers is pretty tight. We really have a good hub going here of small-scale farmers. So I met them through, we had these monthly meetings of the organic farmers. So I met Heather and Rachel through those meetings, and then we just realized that we worked really well together. We were all contracting to 2 of our mentors, Tina Baines and Rebecca Jean, and so we just realized we could work together, and then we had big visions for what we could do under the name of Saanich Organics, and it's grown from there.
So what are the big visions?
Well, we wanted to all work together. We saw other farmers really working way too hard by doing all the marketing for their farms, and then all the delivering, all the growing, all the planning. And we thought if we worked together, we could share information, and then we could collectively hire a delivery person and an administrator to do all our calling. Because with small-scale farming, you really need diverse markets, because we're producing for the fresh market. We can't hold any inventory. Everything that's in the field is ready to go. So we need to be able to sell it at top dollar to whoever will take it. So we've tried to establish a box program where we have families that subscribe to our program. So we have about 75 families that get a box from our farm each week, and it's a $30 box of what's best growing on the farm that week. So we kind of have that as a set market, and then we grow for about 30 different restaurants in town. Wow. So we have a roster, and the chefs are on a pecking order, so whoever buys most gets the first call, and there's a limited quantity, so that's kind of fun. We get to bargain with chefs for who wants what. And then we do grocery stores and the farmers markets.
Wow.
So
that is quite a massive undertaking.
It is, and it would be really hard to do that on your own. Some farmers do, but we find by teaming up, we've got all our bases covered, and only one of us goes to the farmers market per weekend. So we get 2 weekends where we're not at the market.
So when you're contemplating the crops that you're going to grow in a given summer or given season, I guess we're blessed so you can grow things all year long. Do you work with the restaurants that buy from you in terms of deciding what you're going to grow? Do you work, do you share, like do you grow corn and someone else grows carrots? Or how do you manage that planning for the season?
Farmers that don't have a lot of control over what happens in our fields, we try really hard. But what we've decided after years of trying to plan and things not working out is we just all grow what we want. So just grow as much as you can of what you want to grow, and some will work out and some won't. But what we'll do is find markets for what's growing rather than saying, all right, you just grow summer squash, and the one year that you're trying to grow summer squash in abundance, it won't work. So we just try to say, everybody, it's a free-for-all, grow everything you can, and we'll find a market for it. And it's been such a good gig for us in Victoria. There is markets for everything that we can grow.
Yeah. And do you experiment? Like, will you try certain things one year and other things another? Is part of your process trying to increase the number of things that you've grown over the course of the...
Yeah, we're always just hounding out new varieties of produce that we can grow here. I try about 2 or 3 different crops each year. We've grown salsify and all sorts of... our friend Heather, her husband's from North Carolina, so she's always going down there and finding these specialty okras and little white cucumbers, those kind of things, and so she's been able to push our season a little bit more.
Wow.
We're always looking at, there's all these new interesting seed catalogs coming out from heritage growers, so trying to see what we can grow here and what we haven't. And then as our skill grows as growers, you know, I'm on my 12th season growing, and so I keep getting better and better, and things that I couldn't grow in the early years now I can, and then once I have a success at the market, everyone sees, oh yeah, you know, peppers are growing really well here, let's try those. And so we really information share because there is an abundant market, and we try to work together cooperatively. We really work to understand the cost of production for what we're growing and make sure that we don't sell below the cost of production, and then encourage other people to grow, because the aim is to get ourselves food self-sufficient. Mm-hmm.
Not just your little pocket of the world, but
no, we're always taking on new apprentices and mentoring volunteers in the community that want to learn more about growing. Mm-hmm. And then, at the farmers markets, we have gotten tons of help from other growers, and we in turn share what we know. Right.
So tell me, do you make a living at farming? Because we hear so much about how hard it is to farm and make a living, and we hear about farmers who are retiring and have no succession because nobody wants to farm from amongst their children. And we hear about people who really want to farm and have to work 2 jobs in order to have their farm. So tell me about the economics of farming.
Yeah, it's very sobering to think that growing food, good food for families, isn't a good way to make a living, because everybody wants food. Everybody eats. What other product do you need 3 times a day? You know, right. We should all be should be the top seller. We have found that growing organic vegetables in the Victoria area, where there's a lot of demand, a lot of high-end demand from tourists, a lot of families who are just really dedicated to helping the whole movement grow by hiring us as their farmers. They're really part of the solution. So we've got a lot of people that are ideologically on board, and then a lot of restaurants that really care, and farmers markets that are bustling. So we're benefiting from a whole buzz around local organic food. It's not the case in the prairies, in the rest of Canada, rurally. It's just really hard to make a living. It's not that we're doing anything different. We just happen to be located where there is a burgeoning market.
We also don't have so many industrial farms on Vancouver Island, where you have the massive, 640 hectares of land that's being used for one particular monocrop. It just seems to me that we don't have that physical capacity to have that kind of industrial farming. So it probably leaves a better opportunity for the small-scale farmer.
Yeah, we definitely have a bit of a protected market. That said, the costs of farming here are a lot higher because of just the cost of living on Vancouver Island, and then like I was over in Vancouver today getting supplies. So our infrastructure for farming isn't as high as it would be if we were in a real agricultural area where there was a lot of farms that were needing larger scale supplies.
Right.
So yeah, we're riding on the cusp right now, and we'll see what happens into the future. I think it's just going to get better for farmers. I think more people are going to come on side and realize that food is not going to be available from elsewhere. So we might as well work together and try to figure out how to feed ourselves again. We did it in the past. We can do it. We can do it again.
Even on the prairies where I came from, we had mixed farmers who grew products, and we had a year-round market in Edmonton, and farmers brought their stuff every week, and in the winter it was canned goods, and in the summer it was fresh. I mean, so it's not like it was foreign even on the prairies for that kind of food security to exist.
Yeah.
We had those farmers.
We just need more participation. People have to get involved.
So you came and talked to my Rotary group recently, and you were talking about going back to school because of some of the craziness that you see in the whole food chain, not only locally but globally. Can you tell us about some of the things that motivated you to question and then to seek another degree as a solution to those questions?
Yeah, I felt like I had to get a master's degree to answer the questions of my customers at the farmers market. I couldn't explain why my food costs more. I look at my little plot of leased land that I have landlords that really believe in local food, so I get a very reduced rate for farming there, and I have secondhand tools. My main tool is my rototiller, and we share the same birth year. We're both 37 this year and still going. And then my old truck bringing supplies to the market, and how very basic it was. And then I got a chance to go to a farmers conference in California, and I got to tour Earthbound Farm and see all the fleets of tractors and the conveyor belt bladed harvesters and the swimming pool sized washing facilities.
Different definition of organic, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the refrigerated transport and all the staff and all the marketing and all that, and I just thought, gosh, that's really weird that their salad is cheaper than mine that just comes from 20 minutes away, and it's just me, and I don't really know exactly what I'm making per hour, but I don't think it doesn't match what that corporation is making. So I felt like I had to really understand why it was that food costs more, and then what we can do about it, how we can get the food system back on track, get it recovering the cost of production, getting more people involved, because what is happening is large businesses are getting involved in farming, and the food production side is actually a write-off for, they call it vertical integration. So the company that owns Safeway will have farms, and maybe they lose money at the farming part, but then they get to market, and then they have their big conglomerates of food. So they, like the Weston family, they have their bread, and then they have their Safeway chains, and then they have their trucking companies and their packaging companies and their marketing companies, and it just builds. So the cost of food production,
about food at all.
It's not about the cost of food production. It's about the many layers of value adds.
Mm-hmm.